Hello. So today we've got Tara, we've got Claire here, CEOs of the Heart and Soul Doctors. Hi. So I guess let's start there. Like, who are you both? Like, what's your background and what's the brand about? Like, what's Heart and Soul Doctors? Tell us about that. Who wants to go first?
Okay, fair. So I am Dr. Claire Gittos, and I'm a consultant clinical psychologist and one half of the Heart and Soul Doctors. And I'm also a mama, which is really important to say because it's a huge part of our brand. And we are on a mission to help women go from surviving motherhood to thriving, because we absolutely believe that every woman should be thriving through their journey. And for us, that wasn't our experience. And so we would like to change that for the women that we come across that we would love to help.
Yes. I love that. Love that. How long have you been a clinical psychologist? I can't remember.
Oh my goodness. I've been a clinical psychologist for nearly 10 years, but I've been training since, been nearly 20 if you add, yeah.
No, right.
Yeah, a long time.
You only look 20, Claire.
No, the wrinkles tell a different story.
And Tara, what about you? Tell us about that.
So I'm Dr. Tara Pennington-Twist. I'm also a consultant clinical psychologist, and I have also got a daughter, which is important. And I think for me, the bit that feels really important for me is thinking about the journey that I went on when I transitioned to motherhood is what really inspired me in terms of Claire and I setting this up, and just acknowledging that mums don't have enough support and that we're not given permission generally as women to be honest, really honest about the struggles of motherhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so this feels like, for both Claire and I, like our heart and soul calling, which is part of the reason that we called ourselves the Heart and Soul Doctors, because what we're doing is really coming from our heart and souls. And it's amazing. So Claire and I have both worked in the NHS. We've both worked as expert witnesses for the Child and Family Court. We both run our own private practices, which are successful and we love. And we had this amazing idea about distilling down all of the learning and all of the expertise and all of the things that we know that mums in therapy find the most helpful, and what we've learned on our own journeys of transitioning to motherhood, and being able to create something really magical for women so that they do move, like Claire said, from this place of surviving to thriving.
Yes, it's so powerful. Like, it's such a beautiful mission, like such a powerful mission, you know, and like it's just really, really exciting. And we'll get into, like, you're starting to see like all of that come together right now. But I remember when I spoke to you both, like it was just such a baby of an idea. I don't even know if you had a name yet. Did you have a name?
No, we didn't at the start. Like, not when we first spoke to you. We had a really strong sense of who we wanted to work with and what we wanted to help them achieve. But the name came later when I was in a bath.
Love that. Yes.
As you do. Yeah.
Listening to a song that we both danced to a lot, so it was like really aligned. Yes.
Oh, and I love that.
It was a song about lifting, like the power of women, lifting other women up. And there was a line in it saying, it's from your heart, it's from your soul. And I was like, oh, this is like, it was the universe speaking to me through the music and my lovely warm bath water.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that. You have to play that at your events that I see come in. So you guys had met in the working world? Is that how you'd met before? Yeah,
both working in the NHS. Yeah.
Okay. And so when, like, you decided, like, what was it about, like, for each of you, you might be different, but when was it like, I want to start this new business and I want to start it with Claire, I want to start it with Tara? Like, what was that about? How did that come about, that vision? What was that about there?
So actually, it came about when we were walking around in the meadows in Edinburgh. We were having a conversation about our kind of current working lives and our business models, and we love doing our one-to-one therapy with people. And we recognised that there was a different way of working. Claire and I have always worked together so well. Like, we've lectured together, we've worked in teams in the NHS together. You know, we've kind of done the expert witness stuff, alongside each other. But for me, having set up independent practice and the practice that I run separate to this on my own, it felt really important for me to do this side by side with someone who I love and respect and really want to be around, and who energizes me. And, and we laugh together, and, Claire and I together are soul nourishing, and like we've got amazing brains that complement each other. And I think there was a real pull for me to set up another business on my own, so that we could share the highs and the lows and everything in between, and also share all of our experience and knowledge with each other. And so it's been like, that has been magical, and that's been something that I am grateful for every day, is that Claire's constantly, we're like that on WhatsApp with each other, or constant voice notes. But I think I speak to her more than I speak to my own husband. But it's lovely, it's really nice.
I love that. What was it like for you? So then, did you approach Claire and Tara? So when you was at that walk and you kind of had that idea, so what was your kind of initial reaction then, Claire, as well? Like, what was it?
I think, it's everything that Tara said and more. But I don't wish this to sound arrogant, but there was just something when we were on that walk, and I think I may have said something like this, but like, we want, our mission is bigger than what we are currently doing. Like, we want our ripple of impact to be larger than it is now. We want to reach more people. We know we can help more people. And so there was something along those lines that we were like, well, how can we get to that next level? Not from a like business point of view to be, we're already running successful businesses, but how can we help people on a greater scale, and also maintain like really important boundaries around our family life, and create the family vision we want to create.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. And do you know what I hear of you guys saying as well, is that your relationship was one that could work together?
Yeah, right? Absolutely. And I think that's so crucial, because I think doing this with someone that you haven't got that total 100% trust and respect for, I think would not be a good idea.
Yes, absolutely. And you had like-minded, what you wanted to create was similar, you know what I mean? Like, it was like under the same umbrella in that sense. It was like, we know we want to impact mamas, we know we want to have a bigger impact and mission, and so like, let's drive forward and do that, and let's do that together, which is powerful.
And I think, and having journeyed, so obviously I'm further along in my motherhood journey than Claire is, but Claire was alongside me as a friend as I was going through the challenges that I went through when I became a mum, which hit me like a complete train, and having expected to just genuinely take it all in my stride, and I wasn't anxious about it in any way. I think, and that's part of the reason I now understand why it hit me so hard. But Claire was kind of alongside me during that. And I was really grateful for her support. And then obviously Claire, so that was where my challenges were in my journey. And I've been on my own journey of transformation to get to a very different place to that, where I love motherhood and I love work and I love my life. But also Claire's challenges came at a different point, and obviously she can talk to that. But it's I think being able to have both been through challenges that have, been at different stages of motherhood is also part of what helps us to understand and work with the women that we work with at the Heart and Soul Doctors in the way.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's a really important point to raise as well, because there can be that desire to create something as a psychologist or a therapist or anyone in that helping career. And then it's like, oh, well, should I niche, or should I help this particular group? And it's like recognizing like your journey has led you to the Heart and Soul Doctors.
And then, like, you know, without sounding too woo-woo, like Claire and I really feel like the universe has led us here as well, because little things like, you know, like the company was incorporated with, like, not to our knowledge. So we obviously left the incorporation of the company to our accountant, and it took a few days, but the day it came through was World Maternal Mental Health Day. And we were like, this is like, it's just so, it just feels so aligned. You know, and it's the difference of what you're saying between people who choose to do something because it's what their head tells them to do, and people who choose to do something because it's in their absolute heart to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what I've seen you both do, is being able to allow both of your hearts to speak. And it's not been like, okay, like I'm just following Tara, or Tara being like, I'm just following Claire. It's been like, no, like, what is each of our hearts saying we are meant to be doing, and let's drive that forward, right? With healthy, like, you guys have a healthy business relationship, which is beautiful, but that started that way of like recognizing that, and that's why you've been able to do this together, right? And I think that's really important to say, because I know sometimes people they want to create, they've got a vision within them and they want to create it, and they're just like, who's a friend I can kind of pull along with me? You know what I mean? Who can help me make this easier? And that wasn't what happened in your case, you know what I mean? But I think it's an important point to bring up, because I know someone might hear this or hear your journey and be like, oh, that I need a friend too, because yeah, it's fun, but it could equally have not been fun.
Has to be a friend that you're willing to get voice notes from 24 hours a day.
Exactly, absolutely, absolutely. You know, like, what was it? So that day at the meadow, had you heard about me then or not? Like,
no, so then this is it's probably really clever Facebook advertising. I don't even know if Facebook actually listening on your conversations or whether that's complete nonsense, but it was the day after that conversation you appeared on Claire's Facebook thread, and she sent me the link and went, what, wow, this is funny, after our conversation yesterday. And then yeah, I was like, oh, who is this woman? I need to know who she is. Watched your masterclass, booked a call immediately, phoned Claire straight afterwards and was like, wow.
absolutely, I love that, because it really is like, often it's, you know, and you'll find the same as well, is that when people come across you, it's like when they're meant to come across you. You know, it is like almost magical, right? And there's something like even spiritual around that, you know, like, in my opinion, right? What was it then that made you like decide, like, you know what, we need to hire Dr. Slim, we need to kind of go on this journey? Like, what was that? Because you was like, right now I'm hearing is that like just idea of like a nugget of an idea, you know what I mean? Like, it's a seed of like, this is we got a mission, and that's it. Yeah. So what was that decision like about? Like, why did you feel it was necessary?
Well, I'm going to give credit to Tara first, because I, if I'm being really honest, hand on heart, don't think I would have taken the leap if it wasn't for Tara. I think I would have gone, do you know what? Now's not the right time. You know, I'm just coming back from maternity leave. We'll put it off. And may not have got to, like, not the business side of things, but getting support with the business. I think I had a mentality of I need to and can do this by myself. Which, I wasn't aware of, but I think it was only when Tara said, you know, do you think you would have done it? Or I wouldn't have done it if it hadn't been for Tara saying, let's do this. Yeah, I remember that really clearly, because I was like, oh, should we have a think about it? And she's like, nope, we're doing it.
Yes. This is so good. Okay. So, because, and this is normal, like, it's many people, they'll come with that. There's different types of thinking going on. What was the underlying fears or thought patterns or things going on for you, do you think, at that time then, Claire?
It was definitely what I now realise is money mindset around, you know, actually I had questions about affordability for me, and I don't think it would have mattered if it was, you know, like ridiculous amount of money, like millions or thousands, to like, I would have been like, no, do you know what? I haven't got that money right now. And also, yeah, I guess mindset around time and just feeling like, do I have the time to commit to building a business and getting support with it? You know, that'll feel like a pressure, all of which is not true, obviously not true.
Yeah. So ultimately, it was like a kind of in a kind of lack or scared kind of space as well. Yeah. What was going on for you, Tara? Why did you was like, we need this? Like, what do you want about? We need this.
I felt like the universe had just would like put you in our path, like after that conversation, and that like it was such a like moment of insight for Claire and I that like we wanted to also be able to work in a different way, and then suddenly you were there, and then I listened to the masterclass, and like literally every word of it, I was like, oh my god, that's me. Oh that's me. Oh that's me. Oh that's me. Oh yeah, still me. So it literally spoke to me in every word of it. So by the end of it, I'd almost decided that whatever it was, I was up for. And then I had my call with you, and I just like, there's something, it's not just what you offer, it's who you are. You know, that I instantly felt connected to you, and like I wanted to hang out with you and chat, and you were kind of provoking questions, and yeah, it was just really helpful. You know, I think Claire and I are pretty insightful, you know, compared to most of the population. Like, we're very self-reflective. We've done a lot of our own kind of therapeutic work, and but there was something different about your approach that kind of added into that, I think. So some of the questions that you'd asked me, and also I think it was me, because I'm like, Claire and I are both very big on like listening to the signals that your body gives you about stuff, and really connecting with the sensations that come up when you're thinking about something or you're doing something. And I just was so lit up when I was on the initial call to you, and afterwards I could feel in my lower tummy there was this like bubble of excited, it was like an excited knowing feeling that this was going to be amazing. And that's when I rang Claire, and I was like, Mom, I've got to tell you. Who naturally, because you know, we didn't have like, we're not like loaded, Claire and I. So it was a massive investment, and I never in a million years, I never would have thought that I would have taken that leap and invested that. But I trusted you, and I trusted my body, and I trusted that Claire and I would make a success of it.
Exactly, absolutely. Because now looking back, if you didn't make that decision, you're like,
in every way, like, that's, you know, Claire and I often say this. So, you know, if we're being honest, like the trying, and how Claire, I mean, I've done it with a 5 into 6 year old, how Claire's done it with a very, very young child is like blown my mind. But the amount of work on top of the huge workload that we already had from running our own practices, and Claire being in the NHS and all the rest of it, could have been a very good reason to not do it. And if anything, that was more of a limiting factor for me than even getting my head around investing that amount of money, which I wouldn't normally do. That's not something I would normally do. So all of that being said, the workload, it has been, you know, let's not pretend it's not been a huge amount of work. It has been more work than Claire and I ever could have anticipated. I think at the outset, it's probably a good thing, truth be told. But the outcome, I said this to Claire recently, I said, for me, even if the business wasn't successful, which I categorically know it already is being and will be going forward, for me the investment is already worth it, in the shift in my mindset and my in every area of my life. It has been absolutely magical, and I can't imagine now where I would be had I not done this program. I really like it. It slightly scares me when I think about it, not because I was in a bad place before necessarily, but all of the stuff around money mindset and value and worth, and having the confidence and the kind of the mindset to succeed. and you know, things like the visualization, the gratitude, and the abundance mindset, and all of that stuff, you know, has completely changed how I feel about work and how I feel about myself and our value and the value that we offer the world and the women that we work with. So that's been worth the investment amount alone for me.
Absolutely. And I love you saying that as well, because the fact of the matter is that you both already had successful businesses.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, you might not have been coming into that process thinking like, oh, you know, I need help with money mindset, or I need help with, you know, like value and all of that stuff. And it was like that kind of magical stuff that just happens along the way, right, to build the business that you've built. So I love you sharing that, because that is really important, you know, to be able to rise up to another level. That work had to be done. Yeah, absolutely. You know, so what comes up for you, Claire, when I say, like, how do you imagine it to be if you didn't start on the journey?
Just as Tara was talking, I was thinking, you know, for me, I think, yeah, I don't think I'd be in the place I am now. I don't think it would be awful by any means, but the change, not just for me, but in the people around me that have benefited from my investment in myself, that you know, they'd be in a different place too. Do you know, my partner Rory probably wouldn't be getting the best out of me, because I'd still have the same mindset around working every hour of every day, not efficiently. I probably wouldn't be investing in a few. My vision would be just, you know, take each day as it comes. I wouldn't be forward thinking in the way that the program has helped me to be like, I can have a vision and I can make it happen. So it wouldn't have been awful. It just wouldn't be anywhere near as magical and amazing as my life is now and is going to be in the future.
And, you know, and like, even like thinking about, like, you know, like there's like what I'm hearing, there's a lot of internal changes that happened, right? You know, so many internal changes, but there's also been external results, right? You know, and it's like, and you've been able to get to that place without having to have that additional piece of, I just almost, like, my head goes to thinking of like, you guys like scrolling through YouTube, like, you know, watch that video and what do we need to do next? And, you know, you just have that step by step of like, work on this now and work on that now and work on that. You know, what has that what does that help you achieve? Like, what tangible results have you been able to see in your business as well? What have you seen, guys?
There's loads. I was also just thinking that it's also challenged my, sorry, Rory's saying hi. It's also challenged my view that, you know, I would have thought if you'd said to me, to get where we are in our business now, I would need, oh God, every hour that Dr. Talene has to give us one-to-one, sitting down with us every week at our business meetings to make that change happen. And actually, in reality, we've had a lot of your time, but we haven't had as much as I thought we would have needed to get to where we are. But because we've done a lot of that work independently with your support through the modules, and then obviously our power hours. But that challenged my belief, because I would have thought it all had to happen one-to-one very intensively. But where we are in terms of what we've achieved as a business, I mean, we're set up, we're serving clients, we've got consultation calls. It's changed us. We've now got your support continuing. We've got a business advisor, which we would never have invested in if it wasn't for the course. What else, Tara?
Well, you know, we're growing this social media following. We've got lots of like amazing women in our group that we're now connecting with. You know, it is, and I remember you saying, it's like, it's funny, isn't it? I kind of, in my head, the dream, like you get to this point and you've suddenly got 8,000 clients, but actually you said to me, this is where the work, now it's like you've set your restaurant out, you've got your menu, you've got your chef in the kitchen, you've bought your produce, and now the task is getting people into the restaurant and sitting down and eating. And that was really helpful for me, you know, and that's realistic, isn't it? Is that, but the point is, I guess, that we're at this point that we've got a business that we are absolutely aligned with in our hearts and souls, and we've got all of the systems in place to be able to now go on and serve all these women and help them to have these amazing transformations. And
yes,
that's really tangible. And for me as well, and I'm sure Claire will feel the same, doing the program has had a massive benefit on my other business as well, and my mindset around that, and my ability to put boundaries in place in terms of my time, for example, you know, increasing fees and things, and just thinking much more strategically about that business than I would have known how to before, even though it was, you know, it is successful. I didn't think I needed to do that, but then you don't know what you don't know.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely, because you guys have achieved so much, and I love like the transparency. You know, we're really always clear of like, it takes work. Like, you know, I always say to people, like, the people you see us work with, like, you know, they are incredible because they recognize they have to do the work, they have to put it in, but they're driven because they're committed to the mission. And like, what's driven you guys through the process is the mission that you spoke about as you walked through the meadows that day. You know what I mean? Like, that stayed within you and kept the fire alive. That's enabled you to have, you know, they would have been like, oh my God, can we figure this tech thing out, or whatever, you know? And that's helped you get through, as well as being able to have that support here, you know, from like the mindset support to the business strategy support to the community as well. Yeah. How's that been as well, being immersed in a community of other practitioners that are also building up their business in a new way?
It's been like, I think that's had a massive impact on us too, because it's challenged, well, for me anyway, that like, you know, you can ask for help from people that I barely know. And we've all supported each other. It's been really nice to see other people at different stages of their journey. So when we joined, other people were further along and seeing their progress, and, you know, feeling really proud of the other mainly women, apart from one at the moment, on the journey, and seeing how well their businesses are going. So it feels really, really nice to be part of that. And I wouldn't have said that's something I would have needed. Again, like Tara said, you don't know what you don't know. I would have been like, nice, but, you know, maybe not, maybe we don't need it.
Especially because you've had each other, you know what I mean, as well, right? So you could have stayed in that safe place of like, you know, we've got each other, we don't need to just do what we're going to do. Yeah, I love that share. Absolutely. What's it been like for you, Tara?
Yeah, the same, I would say with Claire. I wouldn't have necessarily, you know, I'm not personally someone who like posts a lot on kind of Facebook or social media like that. It's not, yeah, I would have said that's not really me to necessarily be part of an online community like that. I'm much more about like being in person with people and having a gin tonic. But actually it's been immensely helpful. And as Claire said, I think just seeing other people at other stages and seeing other people have success at the next step above you, or next kind of step on the journey, makes you realize that, okay, like this, just keep going and you'll get there. And now it's lovely that we're now at the point where we're ahead in some ways in terms of those steps compared to some of the newer people on the program. And just, it makes you realize all the kind of learning and the wisdom that you've accumulated, or we've accumulated along that way, so that we can now be like, oh, we can help you with that. Yeah, we know the answer to that question, like and support other people. So it's been amazing. It really has been amazing.
Absolutely. I love that, like how much you've gained and how much you've contributed to the community, even though you thought that wouldn't be a thing. You know what I mean? It like naturally became something, and not something that you had to do, but something that you chose to do, and was like and enjoying that, you know. Tell me a bit about like the leap. You know, you mentioned it quite deeply there, Claire, in terms of that leap into the program. Like, it could come with excitement, but can also come with other feelings as well. What was that leap like for you? You know, just jumping to the other side, right? And why now, in retrospect, do you kind of see of like, that was the best leap ever, like scariest but best leap ever?
It's a really good question. I mean, it was basically how I felt throughout the program, a mixture of excitement and fear. Of like, I honestly can say, after investing in the program, I didn't look at the money again, as in I didn't think about
Okay.
The X number of figures that I've invested, and then think about it again. I just thought, okay, I'm going to give this, and then I give everything 100%, but I'm going to give this even more than I think I have, blood, sweat and tears to invest in this, because I'm going to make it work. And actually it being that set amount was transformative in itself. It needed to be that much to be expansive, and I wouldn't be where I am now in terms of my mindset or the business if it wasn't for investing that amount of money.
Yeah. I love that share as well, of like that leap, whilst in the moment there was all of that, like, oh my gosh, like the money and the time, and can I do this, and once it was done, it was like the plaster's off, you know, like, okay, it's done, I'm here, how do I make this work? And you girls have made it work, right? Really made it work, which is amazing. What about for you, Tara?
Yeah, I was just thinking there's something about, for me, I think there always would have been a reason to delay it. So I know at this, you know, I did delay the program slightly because I was doing an expert witness assessment and report, and then I had to go and give evidence in court on top of my normal job and motherhood, and it felt like at that point, oh, this is like a step too far realistically in time, you know, in terms of time for me. You know, and there was a reality to that for a period, but it almost felt a bit like that could have gone on and on. Well, but now I've got this to do, and now I've got that to do, and now I'm never, you know, and a year could have passed and we could have still been having a conversation. And so there was a point at which, after the expert witness piece of work, you were like, okay, it's time. I'm going to hold you accountable. I think you need to start now. And normally in my normal life, I'd be like, oh, I don't like being told what to do. But actually, it's exactly what I needed, is for you to like just make me accountable and go, come on, do it. Like you know, you want to do it. Let's not hang around. Let's get stuck in. And yeah, and I'm glad that you called me on that, because we could have been doing that dance for quite a while, I think.
And we could have also, Tara, just so I'm thinking about it, I think we also had a sense of, and Talene helped us with this, of like, oh, do we need to go and train in something else to be able to do this? And it was like, no, stop with the training.
Oh man, we've done 20 years. Do we need more?
You think we should train on something else, Talene?
Oh yes, that's all. When that comes up, practitioners. We've done 20 years. Do we need more? Do we need
there was also something as well, and it just came to me about when we were walking in the meadows, of like what we're doing is really helpful on the one-to-one in our private practice, but that we wanted to intervene early as well, like to change the trajectory, because there's so many services overwhelmed. And you know, there'd still be lots of people that need therapy, but our hope is that by intervening early with mums and babies, they won't go down that path and won't need, you know, the services Tara and I currently have in our private practice.
Yes, absolutely. There's been so much, like you have both been such a joy, right? You know, and everyone is a joy that comes into the process, but it's because they come with that mindset, right? It's like you, no matter, like both of you explained the fears that were going on, like, is this the right time? You know, is this where the money should be going? Can we do this? Like, you know, should we stop? All of this stuff, right? That could be going on, and that could be used, like Tara mentioned, as like moving the line of like, okay, well, you know, how about we start 2022, right? Yeah. And okay, maybe not now, like let's assess it again then. And you can always move the goalposts, but because that you had just made a decision and you decided, like, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to go all in, and we just do the best that we can. You've allowed yourself to see it unfold, right? So I'm really celebrating you, and I'm so excited by your future, right? The Heart and Soul Doctors and the future and everything that's being created from here on in, because there's so much more to come, right? You have built a strong foundation, a strong foundation to really grow and leap from even more, right? And so that's what it's about now. So I'd love to hear kind of some final thoughts in terms of, for you, Claire, like if there is a mama to be or a mama on maternity leave that is like got a vision, like they want to do more, they want to have more impact, and they've got an idea on what they want to do, right? Like, what is it you would like them to be able to hear right now?
Nothing is impossible. Do you know, I would have said at that time, if you'd said to me where we are now in terms of our business, our mindset, our families, I don't think I would have believed you. But yeah, nothing's impossible. If you're willing to lean into it, you can make it happen. We are making it happen, and we can help you make it happen if you want to join us. That would be my message.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And Tara, if there is someone that, you know, comes across this and they are a mother who has an older child and they have the demands of you know, work that is working, and they're loving, like, life's just going and it's happening and it's moving and everything's going, but they know within themselves that they're being pulled to create something bigger. What is it you would like to share with them today?
I think I would say, like, trust their inner wisdom and trust their inner knowing. And I think it's so hard to connect with that when we're in the, you know, on the kind of treadmill of life as a mum. And what, you know, a lot of these women will be juggling work and motherhood and you know, it's a lot, you know, and that again is part of the reason that we're doing this, is that we don't think it's good enough that women are just expected to take all of this stuff in their stride and put their needs, you know, there's a reality to the fact that our children's needs come before ours, you know, as mums and as dads. But there is a different way, and you don't have to go through life in a fog and then emerge, you know, in your late 40s or 50s and have no clue who you are anymore. There is a different way. And, you know, I feel like I can speak to that, you know, the journey that I've been on and how different I feel now in the 6 years since my daughter has been born, because of the commitment to that journey that I've made myself. I know that there is more for so many women out there. There is far more than what they're doing day to day right now. So it's about trusting that, I think, and reaching out for the support, because there are people like Claire and I who know exactly what you know, how to help them to enjoy motherhood more, to enjoy life more, and to be their own individual people at the same time as being mamas.
Yes. Right. So true.
Tara, can I just, there's something that came up as you were talking about that made me think about, there's research at the moment that suggests that the quality of if you're married or in a relationship, the quality of your relationship declines during the life course of your child, and it only starts to improve when they go to university. And there is no way that's happening for me. There's no way that's going to happen for Tara or for any of the women that we help, because that's not okay. You know, your relationships reflect the quality of your life, and if it's that poor, then, you know, that's not good enough.
Yeah.
Child.
And it's that old adage, isn't it, of like, you know, we're really good at saying, don't forget to fit your own oxygen mask first. You know, you can't be the best parent to your children unless you're taking care of yourself. But we all know that. But very, very rarely, I think, do we actually walk that walk, because we don't know how to walk that walk. You know, it just seems like an impossibility, but it doesn't have to be. And as Claire said at the start, that kind of trickle down, that we know that if women are happier in themselves and their stress responses, you know, their kind of stress response system is calmer, and they're enjoying life more, and they're feeling more connected to who they are as human beings, not just as mums, they're happier parents, more containing parents, more responsive parents for their children as well. So this isn't just about helping mums to feel better and enjoy life more. This is about that trickle down, and how that has a huge impact on the relationship and the enjoyment in the relationship between the mum and her child or children. And that then has a ripple of impact in terms of partners or extended family as well. So it's massive. It's massive.
Future generations.
Exactly. Yeah, it's huge. And you guys have seen that in your own lives. You've seen that in your own lives, right? And even this journey has enabled you to see even more, right? I've seen, like, you know, the joy that you've had, you know, with your children in this journey alone, right? You know, and you can see that in your brand photos and all of that. Like, that is because you continue to walk that path, as mothers, and to demonstrate that to your audience, which is huge. It's huge. It's such an important mission. So I'm continuing to root for your success. I know it's going to be huge. All right. So thank you both for spending your time. You're both busy mamas. So I'm really grateful, and business women. So I'm really grateful for you to spend your time today to share that with those that will come across this, to inspire them, you know, if they are a mum of any kind or a mama to be, to know that they can have more, right? They can create more and they can do more. Okay. Yeah. And so that's huge. All right. So we'll link them all up and promote that as well. Okay. But thank you. And we'll speak again.
Thank you.